Hi, everyone, and welcome to Strategic Wealth Strategies with our host, Alan Porter. Alan, what's going on? How are you, sir?
Well, it's a great day today. There's no rain out there for me. But just say a prayer for those people on the West Coast, so they're getting deluged. But today we've got Garuda. He's a great friend of mine. He's just an awesome individual. He's one of the greatest financial planners in the United States, possibly the world. He's my coach. He's my mentor. I've known him for several years. Good friend of mine. The knowledge he has is unparalleled. He's a man of great integrity, and it's my honor to have him on our podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, Alan.
All right.
You earned them.
So, Alan, I guess you can just get started with some questions for Raul.
Well, Raul, some of the things you've taught me, one of the main things that you taught me, when I talk to clients, you told me to ask them, what's your biggest expense?
That's right.
And they all come back and say this or that, but it always ends up in taxes, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it does. You know, a lot of people don't understand the impact of taxes, but they also don't understand the incentives that the federal government gives people to cut those taxes. Okay. And, one of my friends used to tell me the secret to life and success in life. And I asked him, what was that? He said, well, there are two kinds of people, in the world. The first kind takes all the money that they have, they save first and spend whatever is left over. And the second kind takes all the money that comes in, they spend first, and whatever is left over, they try to save. And he said the most important thing to remember is the second kind always ends up working for the first kind. Okay, so that is the secret. In other words, if you can save first and spend the rest, you're off to races. But our culture, and commerce in America is such that you can buy something without paying for it and keep on paying for the rest of your life. So they don't stop to think, can I afford to buy this? Or do I really need this? And that's really where the problem is. So if you can live within your means and save first and spend the rest, then you're way ahead of the game.
So that's very, very interesting. So that the budgeting is such an important thing. Starting out, Alan and I were talking about in the last podcast, the importance of starting early and saving and making sure you're paying off your debt. That's so important, because once you do that, then you can accumulate wealth, right?
That's exactly right, Neil. I came from India. I was 20 years old, and I came to this great country with $7 in my pocket. And I was lucky to be the top student in engineering. So I got a scholarship to do my master's in engineering. So what I realized was that in America, it's not how you start. It matters a great deal how you finish. Okay, so that's really the name of the game. And my dad, he worked so hard to make sure that I come to this great country, but he didn't have enough money to buy a round trip ticket. So he told me, hey, I got you a one-way ticket to America, but don't be afraid, because all you have to do to be successful in America is to work hard. And I believe that 60 years ago, and I believe that even more right now, Neil. Okay, and that's the culture that America is built on, hard work, and that's how this country is founded on. And those principles are forgotten sometimes, and so I try to keep reminding my children and grandchildren about that.
Raul, what first alarmed you about taxes?
Well, I did very well as an engineer, and I got married to a physician from India, and we both started working. And in 1976, Neil, 1976, okay, it's going back a long ways. We made $140,000, but the tax rate on that was 70%.
Oh my gosh!
In other words, 70 cents out of every dollar that you made was taxes. Okay. So now a lot of people don't remember those days. They've completely forgotten it, but taxes are very low right now. Historically and otherwise, taxes have gone down, but that is only the income tax we're talking about it, okay? But there are other taxes that they added. Most people don't know how many different types of taxes do you pay. You want to take a guess, Neil, how many different types of taxes do you pay?
I have no idea.
But there are approximately 50 different types of taxes, Neil. 50. 50. And starting from a pack of chewing gum that you buy, to the federal income tax, state income tax, city tax, then there's an estate tax, there's a gift tax, there is a generation skip tax. And, you're being taxed so many different ways. There's a Medicare tax, there is a income-related Medicare tax. I mean, they're all different types of taxes. Most people don't understand that. And Alan talks about that a great deal. And Alan also talks about how many pages is the tax code. Can you guess how many pages there are in the tax code?
How many pages are there?
Yeah. Alan, how about you?
Around 77,000.
77,000 pages in the tax code. Okay. Now, how many CPAs and attorneys that are supposed to know all those things, do they really know that? And do they have a lifetime to read that? And guess what? Why do they have 77,000 pages, Neil? Can you take a guess?
I think just basically to catch you that make mistakes so that you can be audited.
Well, that's one of them, but there is, every time there is a tax law that is passed, there is a law around that. Okay. So the tax code is very complicated. You have to really, really be sharp to understand how to cut taxes. But going back to Alan's question, what got me into this field is that tax. So I was supposed to be an engineer. I had the highest grade point average in engineering in my class. I was supposed to be the smart guy. I asked a lot of people, how do I cut my tax? And nobody really gave me a good answer, so I was not happy. I said, okay, maybe I have to figure this out myself. Maybe I'll become a tax attorney. Okay, so from an engineering school to taxes, I wanted to change my field completely. So I went to talk to the dean at the law school. And, then he said, well, those were the Vietnam War days. He said, hey, dude, I don't know what the hell you're smoking, but you're an engineer. Why do you want to become an attorney? So I told him, hey, listen, I have this problem. He said, well, in that case, you leave engineering and you go to business school, then you go to law school and you come back and we'll talk. So that's when I resigned as an engineer and took 4 years off. And I learned a great deal, about taxes and business, and came back, started working. And a couple of my friends at the law firm said, hey, you should become a financial planner. And I think you have a lot more potential as a financial planner. And so that's when I started more than 40 years ago, Neil. So, and that has become my specialty.
But you've learned lots about taxes. That's the key thing, is a lot of financial planners do not know taxes. They don't know how to save taxes. They say, oh, contact your accountant. What makes you different in that way? And I think that's so key, because, saving in taxes is going to make or break you, especially if you're a business owner.
Yes. Alan is such a good student and a dear friend, and he's one of the few people that I can count on my fingers that have unbelievable integrity. Okay. He tells you like it is. He uses a term, which is a very important term. It's called the lost opportunity cost. It's a lost opportunity cost. In other words, one of the big things I learned was that you can go and put money away, and the federal government gives you these incentives, but nobody takes them up on that. Okay. You can save some money in so many different types of plans, starting from a Roth IRA to a defined benefit plan. You can put money away and cut your taxes. And if you don't do that, then you lost the opportunity to save those taxes right now. That is what Alan is talking about. And nobody teaches this in any school, by the way. And the CPAs and attorneys that, there are very few people that even focus on that. They have become scorekeepers. They say, okay, this is how much you made, this is how much you spent, you pay this tax. Okay. So they have become more bookkeepers and scorekeepers than advisors. That's what makes Alan Porter as one of the best in the country.
Well, it's what when I talk to people, they say, well, I get all my tax and financial advice from my CPA or my attorney or my financial advisor. And I said, listen, I'm not here to replace your financial advisor. But I have a team of people that I want to work with you to give you the best possible scenario.
That's right.
And I said, you may have the best advisors in the world, but it's what you don't know, or what they don't know, that's going to end up costing you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in undue fees, taxes, and lost opportunity costs. And they always say, well, what's lost opportunity cost, Alan? I said, well, I'll give you an example. Would you like to have a tax deduction instead of paying capital gains tax when you sell your business? Well, how's that possible? Well, that's an opportunity. I said, how would you like to have the government pay for a tax-free retirement plan for you? How's that possible? There's many different ways to do things like that. But
Yeah,
that's a lost opportunity.
actually, Alan, one of the best in the country is one of my dear friends. He's a CPA, and he's also an authority in pension plans and IRAs. Okay, and his name is Ed Slott, and he's written many books. He's on NPR. He's on many different shows, and he talks about the power of a Roth IRA. He says if you pay a one-time tax, you get a lifetime of tax-free income. A one-time tax for a lifetime of tax-free income. But yet most people don't have that. I don't understand why.
It's a matter of education.
Yeah.
Everything that I do and propose, it's all a matter of education that people need to understand. It's just like, you're talking about debt. We got $16.5 trillion in debt, and it's all compound interest paid to the financial institutions and not ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I do is I show people how to get out of debt, pay compound interest for themselves instead of financial institutions. Like Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth one of the world. Those who understand it will benefit from it, and those who don't or end up paying it. And that's what's wrong. 99% of people are paying compound interest to the financial institutions and not themselves.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about what's the easier way to save money for someone, a business owner or an individual, when it comes to taxes, especially at different times when you work with some of them. Kind of explain that.
Well, the biggest thing that a businessman or businesswoman can do is first take care of themselves. Okay, the reason you're in business is to help a lot of people, but at the same time you can also help yourself. So the incentives that you have are what are called pension plans. There are many different kinds of pension plans, Neil, and many people know what a 401k plan is. Okay, right. It's a K plan, 401k plan. By the way, your listeners should know that if they are self-employed or if they're in business, they think that 2022 is gone. There's nothing you can do about 2022. That's absolutely incorrect. Okay, 2022 tax planning is not gone. You can have a pension plan for 2022 because the federal government gave an exception because of COVID, and that's the law right now, that until you file your tax return, you can actually put a pension plan in for yourself and go backwards. And you can put away a lot of money in that pension plan and get a tax deduction. So if you take a typical self-employed business owner that can put away $100,000, $200,000, and there are millions of those people that qualify, every $100,000 that they put in, they can save between $30,000 to $45,000, depending on what part of the country you're in. That is $30,000 to $45,000 of taxes saved. Okay, that's a lot of money. Okay, and that's what they can do right now. They need to know, who is the person, not how it is done. There's a beautiful book that's written, and it is one of the best sellers. And the title of the book, Neil, is "It's not about how, it's about who." And that who happens to be right here. Alan Porter is your who. Okay, if you pick up the phone and call Alan Porter will lead them and direct them and guide them. But the problem with most people is they'll say, okay, Alan, tell me how you do it. Well, Alan, as good as he is, doesn't know everything, but he's in a network. I happen to talk to very, very successful people in the country, some of the best in the country, including a few billionaires. But they all say one thing, Neil, and what they say is, your network will define your net worth.
Right.
And compliments to you, you're bringing in all these people into your network and you're connecting them. Okay. And then if you have the right kind of people in your network, they can solve many of the problems that people have, but they try to figure this out themselves, or they try to depend on one person. One person doesn't have all the answers. You have to have a team. And that's exactly what Alan Porter has done. He has surrounded himself with lots of very knowledgeable people all over the country. He doesn't know everything, but he knows a lot of people that do. So that's the beauty of what you're doing. You guys collectively are doing a great service to the general public. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, Ralph. One of the things that got me started in this business when I started reading about you and things, tell us about your first death claim.
Oh, my first death claim was actually, I did a meeting. Alan talked about a lot of CPAs and accountants. Well, luckily, a few CPAs collaborate with people like us. And he said, hey, let's go. And I told him, let's go do a seminar. So he brought in 200 people, 200 business owners. And I did 6 pension plans for those people, right the same day. And one of them was a doctor. He was 54 years old. And so he said, hey, I have a problem with taxes and saving. But if you come to my office every Friday, I'll give you $2,000. You can you can do whatever you want with it. So his CPA and I decided to put him in a pension plan, and he got a tax deduction. And then a part of that plan, also included his protection for his family. So 1.5 years later, I get a phone call from his wife, and she said, hey, I don't think you know me. Unfortunately, we never met, but my husband gave me a card and said, call this guy, and if you are ever in trouble, you call him and he will help you. And I'm in trouble because my husband, passed away last night because of a massive heart attack. And my problem is I have a total of $10,000 in savings, and I have 5 young daughters. Youngest one was 13 years old. The oldest one was 18. And I have a $350,000 debt, and I don't have any money. How long can I stay in this house before they kick me out? So I was able to tell her, listen, I'm going to deliver you more than $1 million tax-free money, and we'll pay off your mortgage. So you never have to worry about, paying off the mortgage, and you'll be all set and all your kids can finish college. And that was 40 years ago. That was my first death claim, a 7-figure check that I was able to deliver because the pension plan had some life insurance with the blessings of Uncle Sam, who allowed her to cover, all the types of risks. So the type of plan people can have is one where if you live too long, if you die too soon, or if you get sick, the plan will give you tax-free money. And that's what you should be looking for. So every one of your audience that has a business, that's self-employed, that has 1099 income, or any type of focus on taking care of themselves should call Alan. And they should pick up the phone and call Alan, and Alan will guide them and help them how to handle it. And I've been doing this for the last 40 years. I have delivered many, many checks. I have taken care of a lot of widows and orphans. And that's what makes me feel very good about what I do.
It definitely seems like it, because again, you're saving lives. You're saving lives, especially when people least expect things to happen, they happen, right, Alan?
Right. Neil, let me tell you another thing that impressed me with Rao. He's a great philanthropist. He gives. And he told me, he said, Alan, there's 2 days that are important in your life: the day you were born and the day you found out why. He said, I found out why because I'm a philanthropist. I told him I found out why because I want to educate people. But one of his stories, he always goes to India once a year until COVID. I think I missed a year or so.
Right.
But one year I remember he went over there and they restored sight for, I don't know, 150 people because they had cataracts and they couldn't see.
That's right.
Ralph's sitting in the hospital with this guy and taking the wraps off, and the guy grabbed Ralph's hand. He said, Ralph says, what do you see? He said, I see, and he's looking right at Ralph. He says, I see an angel sent from God to restore my sight. Now that's just one of the things. The next year they go and put prosthetics on people, no arms, no legs. Some people have never walked in their life, and now they're walking. I mean, it's just amazing the things that Rao has done in his life as far as giving.
And the federal government gives you all these options to make a difference, and I tell people life is not about how much money you make. It's about how much difference you can make. It's about how many lives can you change. And that's what America does. The reason why the whole world wants to come to America is because they see this great country and the great opportunities that are available here. And majority of Americans actually don't even remember that, don't even understand what a great country this is. So I tell all the younger people, I said, hey, you got something very special. You have your goal should be to preserve and protect what you have and to capitalize on that. So that's the reason why people would do anything to come to this great country. And that's, I was very lucky. JFK was the president when I came, and he said I wanted the best talented people, best scientists, best engineers, best doctors from all over the world to come here. And he was my inspiration. And that's how I came here. And so America attracted the best of the best in the whole world. And in fact, the whole world was complaining that America was doing what's called a brain drain. You know, the best brains are coming over to America. Unfortunately, things have changed a little bit now, but I hope we go back to where we used to attract the best.
Okay, so question, what should people do right now, especially when they're planning for 2023 and they're planning either for their business, their personal life when it comes to saving money and for planning for retirement? What's your recommendation?
Well, the first recommendation, everybody in America should have a Roth IRA. Everybody that has a paycheck, you know, that's working and that gets any paycheck should seriously think about a Roth IRA. And Congress has made it available to everybody as an incentive to start a Roth IRA. And if you keep doing that, that is the starting point, whether it is $100 or $6,000 or $7,500, depending on how old you are, you should start with a Roth IRA. Do it for 2022, not 2023. You can still go back and do it, okay? That's the first one. Now, for people that have money that can put away more, well, they can even put away up to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for last year to cut their taxes. So it is between $5,000 to $500,000 of money that you can put away for yourself. And as you know, Neil, the way the money works for anybody that's any good, the money doubles every 10 years. So if you're 50 years old, you could potentially have 5 times money doubles. So a dollar can become $2, $4, $8, $16, and yes, $32, $1. So that's the power of compounding that Alan talks about and explains extremely well. That's the first thing that you should do. The second thing is, what can this money do in a pension plan? Can it take care of you if you live too long? Because the biggest fear of all the retirees, Neil, is what if I live too long, run out of money? Well, there's a program where the money is designed to give you a guaranteed paycheck, like Social Security. You can have guaranteed paycheck. So if you live too long, you should have money. And if you die too soon, you should have money. And if you get sick, that's the long-term care. You see a lot of people in the nursing homes. You know, all those 3 bases should be covered with your pension plan. So that is an overall holistic planning that we talk about. Okay. And that should be the first thing that everybody should be doing. What can I do to put money away for future? Because, you know, spend and save is not going to work. You know, save and spend does. And that's really the biggest challenge in America. Right now, our biggest problem in America, you know, there are 2 problems. Our debt, national debt, is over $30 trillion, 30 trillion with a T, okay? That's a hell of a lot of money. The interest alone on that money, you know, is enough to cause a great damage to the budget. So that is what the Congress is handling as we speak right now.
That's
Powerful
exactly right,
stuff.
Ralph.
Yeah.
It's like we got $30-some trillion in debt, but we've got over $30-some trillion in our qualified plans, retirement plans. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes it goes below because we have a stock market loss.
Mm-hmm.
But Congress is always thinking of ways of taxing those retirement plans to get that debt paid off.
Yes.
This is a study by a paper written by the Congressional Budget Office. They said year 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at racist taxes at almost 66% just to pay the interest on the debt.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Taxes could potentially be double, or they could go up by 100% more. You know, it's a simple math, Alan, and the simple math is that our debt is so high. Okay, and we also have a problem with Social Security and Medicare because the number of people that are retiring is going up all the time. And the number of workers is shrinking. So that's the reason why they're talking about, hey, you know, the Social Security Trust Fund and the Medicare Trust Fund could go broke. And if they go broke, what are you going to do? How are you protected? So my biggest concern for most Americans is that they're depending too much on Social Security and Medicare. But what will they do if they run out of money? Okay, and that's really where the tax impact is hitting them hard. Because if you make too much money, there is a Medicare tax, you know, which is above and beyond any other taxes, Neil. And all of a sudden, you'll see that your Social Security tax check is shrinking. Okay, I get phone calls from people. They say, "Hey, they took $500, $600 from my Social Security check. Why?" Well, because by their definition, you make too much money. Okay, so that's what's happening. It's a major problem, but nobody's talking about that. And that's the reason why Alan does a fantastic job of educating most people. It's all about educating them and explaining to them, what is it that they're missing.
So where's the best place you can find information on you, Ralph? Where can they go?
Best place is, you see Alan Porter. I'm 80 years old. Okay, by the way.
You do not look 80, that's for sure.
Thank you so much. I've been very blessed. I love teaching and coaching, and there's some great financial planners, but the best ones are very hard to find. And you're talking to one of the best in the country. I would advocate people calling Alan Porter any given time. And Alan is such that he's very resourceful. He's got a lot of people that he can refer people to. And he always consults with people like me all the time. And he wants to get the best source. And he's a lifetime student. As good as he is, he doesn't stop learning. He's a lifetime student. He doesn't say, I know everything. He does say that I have a big network. And that's what, that's a great gift. There are very few people like him. He did a great service to the United States Army and Air Force. And he's got phenomenal credentials. And that's why I would say, they should go to Alan's website and make an appointment with Alan or pick up the phone and call them. And I'm a speaker. I speak to many, many groups of people. I have hundreds and hundreds of people that I speak to. And it's a joy. The greatest country in the world, the opportunities that are available are unlimited. And I have the privilege of learning from the best and meeting the best. I'm excited about the future of this great country. But I'm also concerned about the younger generation that has no idea of what people have sacrificed to make this country so great.
All right.
Our biggest challenge right now, Neil, is to preserve and protect what we have and build on it.
Okay, so you're going to point them to Alan. Alan,
Yes.
Again, best place to go. Where can we go right now?
Well, you can call me anytime at 910-551-1046. Again, that's 910-551-1046. If I don't answer, just leave a message and I'll get back with you.
Well, you have a wonderful website too. Why don't you give them your website?
Oh yeah, I've got my website is Alan Porter. That's ALANPORTER NC.com/strategic wealth strategies. And you can also email me at strategicwealth0@gmail.com. Again, that's strategicwealth0@gmail.com.
All right. Well, that was a fantastic strategic wealth strategies, guys. Appreciate it. You both of you. Take care.
Neil, it's a